So
or hasn't yet.
Yeah, hasn't yet. The name, if you follow the Pacific Northwest, this is a pretty good Magic player. The small breaking out party was in Vancouver when he did top 8, but the highlight of that tournament was Alexander Hayne winning again. So, just always flying underneath the radar is Ruprecht when we come to the Northwest. Doesn't travel a ton for Magic, but he did make the drive down to Portland, and he's off to a beautiful start here, sitting at 5-1 and beginning with the Cloudfin Raptor.
Yeah, he's playing cutting-edge Blue Devotion.
Okay.
Yeah, exemplified by having a card printed in the last 6 months. He has 1 copy of Hall of Triumph, which
Very
is
impressive.
Which is more than most mono blue decks have. And it looks like he doesn't have a second land, though, which is less than most have.
Rolando Lewis is playing Burn. He will shock a Cloudfin Raptor, and this is not a great matchup for Burn. Blue puts on one heck of a clock, has, of course, Master of Waves and Thassa. However, Ruprecht is without lands, it looks like. Looks like he may have picked up a second one, though. So he may be okay. And, of course, Mono Blue does play 25 lands, so keeping a one-lander sometimes is A-okay.
Yeah, the double Cloudfin Raptor draw with some enablers. Too much to pass up for Aru.
The Judge's Familiar will attempt to evolve the Cloudfin Raptor, but that will fail. Though 1/1 is out there, and actually Judge's Familiar's text is actually relevant in this matchup.
Definitely. Yeah, the burn deck, lots and lots of spells, and not always ample mana to be able to pay. The Familiar could make a War Leader's Helix kind of awkward sometimes.
See if Lewis is going to fire off another burn spell on a creature if he's going to save those. He says, all right, I'm going to get this out of here.
Classic mono, just mono burn control.
Yeah. Kill all your stuff and hopefully eventually kill you. Ruprecht did draw a 3rd land, and now this will be a copy of Nightveil Spectre before passing the turn back over to Lewis, who will cast a Skull Crack. Ruprecht will go down to 17.
Master of Waves, absolutely fantastic in this matchup.
Relatively good, yes.
I mean, how many Chain to the Rocks does he have?
There are 2.
Yeah, that's not a lot of roads home.
Lewis going to just play a copy of Mana Confluence before passing the turn back. Ruprecht will draw a card here. It is a copy of Mutable. Also, a couple of lands have gone rolling off the top. Nightfall Spectre will hit. The trigger will resolve. The top card is a Lightning Strike here for Adam. See if Spectre's ever able to cast that. Ruprecht will deploy that Mutavault, and this is a Thassa, God of the Sea. 1 Blue Devotion away from going active.
Yeah, things have shaped up real nicely considering the slightly rocky start.
A Magma Jet's going to go upstairs towards Adam Ruprecht. He will go down to 15, but Rolando Lewis has a long way to go as far as damage is concerned. He is taking a look at a Boros Charm and a Mystery card right now. And it looks like Boros Charm may be staying on top, maybe not. Just deciding, is Lewis what he wants to do with these cards.
It's so tough to split your burn up between the face and the creatures.
Yeah. If
you do, then you end up in a spot where you've got your opponent down to 15 and you're kind of short on cards.
Eidolon of the Great Revel really showed its prowess last weekend when Brian Camage did win the Legacy Open. It's not a bad card in Standard, but it's a little late to the party right now. Ruprecht taking a look at his top card. He's going to put that to the bottom. So a Mystery card coming, and this may be able to provide the necessary devotion here for Adam to get that Thassa into the red zone. It looks like it may have been a copy of Nykthos was his draw.
Yeah, it's actually kind of challenging here because Eidolon of the Great Revel is potentially going to do some damage to Rolando as well.
This thing could certainly hurt both players. Ruprecht looks like he's going to go reaching for some mana here. This is a Frostburn Weird. Trigger will put Ruprecht down to 13. Adam again does have Nykthos. Here's an attack.
Is it crazy to chump here?
Is it crazy to chump? I don't think so. I was actually a little surprised that Ruprecht didn't make his Thassa unblockable. I wouldn't even want to give my opponent the option.
Yeah.
Oh, you're taking 5.
Oh, and there's the Mana Confluence, and now Lightning Strike.
I love it when a plan comes together. The strike is on, if Ruprecht would like it to be. Will play that Mana Confluence. And we'll simply pass the turn back. Lewis will take a draw. It's a copy of Searing Blood. Unfortunately, no good targets out there. Dealing 2 to a creature and 3 to a player when the creature does die. However, Nightfall Spectre with 3 toughness, Thassa with 5, and Frostburn out there with 4. However, this is a way to kind of induce here, as there is a block and an activation of the Frostburn Weir. Nightfall Spectre may bite the dust, excuse me, Frostburn may bite the dust here in combination with the Searing Blood.
So something that's important to note, if Lewis Searing Bloods, if Adam responds by activating the Frostburn Weird, the Frostburn Weird would die to state-based effects, and the Searing Blood damage would not carry over.
As it is a 2/3 right now, and has 2 damage on it. So that would work. You activate it one more time, it becomes a 3/2. As you mentioned, state-based effects, 2 damage on it, it would just go away. So does Ruprecht see this play is the question. He would have to take 1 to do it, but 1 is better than 3, by my math.
It's important to remember, burn doesn't kill creatures, state-based effects kill creatures.
Well, it looks like Ruprecht does miss that one. Lightning Strike's gonna go upstairs. Looks like he's got a better plan.
Yeah, it looks like he just wants to close it out. He's got, you know, if he has the proper devotion, if he can drop any creature next turn, he's threatening, 9 points of attacking damage.
Yeah, in combination with the Mutavault. It only takes 1 more devotion to get there. Adam will
That's not
take
a good
the card.
sign.
Yeah, if he's keeping, there's Nykthos. This is a Judge's Familiar. That is an activation Mutavault. And those creatures are attacking for lethal.
Yeah, that's 9.
And that is going to
Lewis
do
does
it.
not have anything to save him. So we're going to go to game 2.
Adam Ruprecht does win in game number 1 over Rolando Lewis. Mono Blue Devotion up a game over Red White Burn, which is a very difficult matchup for Red White Burn. I've got Lewis's deck listed in front of me, so I take a look at a Dictate of the Twin Gods, 2 copies of Anger of the Gods, 2 Wear and Tear, 3 Harness by Force, 4 Fire Drink Crusader, and 3 Toil Trouble. And what you will not find here, Patrick, outside of maybe Anger of the Gods, are cards that are good against Mono Blue Devotion.
No, this is not a great setup against Mono Blue Devotion.
No. There's not really anything you can do.
Well,
oh, we're going to get creative?
You can Harness by Force Thus. No.
Nope.
No.
Nope.
You can wait. No. Yeah, I don't know. I think he's got Anger of the Gods, and that's about it.
Yeah, and Anger of the Gods isn't even that great in this matchup either.
It's fine.
Yeah.
It's fine.
But
It's
nothing,
fine.
Yeah, nothing special. You've got Ruprecht's deck list in front of you. I know things probably get worse for Rolando in a minute.
So Adam's got access to lots and lots of permission if he wants it. He'll probably want at least Dispel. He might want a Null, just because a Null can hit Eidolon of the Great Revel or Chain to the Rocks, which is not a ton, but no, I don't think he's going to change very much either. He might want a couple Dissolves just to 1-for-1. But I think for the most part, because I mean, like, he doesn't super want to keep this Cyclonic Rift or these rapid hybridizations. So I think he's going to try to trim some of that action and just bring in some counter spells, like maybe an Annul, a Dispel, and 2 Dissolves. Or actually, he'd probably prefer the Negates. Probably want 2 Negate, a Dispel, and 2 Dissolves. Or even just the 2 Dissolves and 2 Negates. So.
Well, while these players do finish shuffling up here, we'll be getting game number 2 in just a moment, but we do want to take a look at our Players' Championship leaderboard here for Season 3. Joe Lissette will not be competing in elimination rounds this weekend like he did in Las Vegas, but he is in the lead with 126 Open Series points. Alec Bertoncini chasing him down with 122. We do see Kent Ketter, Eric Rowe, and Ross Merriam there with 97 apiece, and then the 92 for Ross. Van Meter, Ross, and Braun DeWin are already qualified for our Players' Championship. That's what the trophies do designate. But for Joe Lissette, he said he was going to come to Portland after his great weekend in Vegas, took the lead, going to try to expand on it, and if he's able to continue doing so, we could see him traveling to the East Coast, maybe for Worcester next weekend, Baltimore a few weekends down the road as well. So we'll see what ends up happening. No luck in Standard, even though, again, he can make a top 32 finish and grind out 4 Open Series points, but Legacy is his bread and butter anyway.
How many slots are there? And how many how many slots are kind of wild or at play here?
12 slots available still. Again, we've got 4 players already qualified in Tom Ross, Brian Brondewin, Chris Van Meter, and Derek Sheets, with 8 at-large bids at the end of the year. But the one that Joe is probably most concerned with right now is Season 3. We're right there at the beginning, and he has the ability to really expand his lead and take it down if he's able to put together a couple good weekends here. And then if he does opt to travel during Season 3, we could see even more action. So
I like action.
I like a Players' Championship near the year.
Yeah.
That's what I like. I like a big tournament with a whole bunch of money on the line, 16 players doing battle.
I can relate.
Yeah. You'll see Lewis and Ruprecht take a look. They're both going to keep. Oh, boy. That's a tough place to start. Just a mana confluence. Ruprecht going to fire off with a Judge's Familiar. Is there a second land over there? It looks like there is in the form of a Plains. For Lewis's mana base, he does have 2 Plains, 4 copies of Mana Confluence, 11 Mountains, 1 Temple of Silence, 4 copies of Temple of Triumph. But Judge's Familiar actually looks like it's making things very difficult. As there's a Magma Jet and a Searing Blood that is basically blanking. There is the Jet. And yeah, the Familiar is going to counter that, so no scrying allowed there for Rolando Lewis. Let's see if Ruprecht has a play in just a moment, as Lewis did take 1 to cast the Jet from the Mana Influence, and the follow-up now is a Tidebinder Mage. Oddly enough, even though Ruprecht is playing against a red deck, Tidebinder Mage is not really at its best against Burn. Pretty mediocre threat.
All right, so Searing Blood on the Tiebinder is at least some progress.
Yeah, it's a step in the right direction.
Yeah, Searing Blood definitely an important card in this matchup. I think it's so dicey to continue to let Adam untap, though. The counter magic is, I mean...
You beat me right to it. I was going to say, untapping against a deck that could play Dispel or Negate,
yeah,
come back to hurt you.
The counter magic is real.
However, everything is okay for Lewis this go around. Ruprecht will take 3. Let's see what the follow-up's going to be. It's a Nightfall Spectre. That's a deadly one. Ruprecht will pass the turn back over to Lewis. Lewis with a Chandra's Phoenix.
Yeah, Nightveil Spectre is so good against red. Just being able to block. Red is pretty good at dealing 2 damage, less good at dealing 3.
There's Nylon on the Great Revel. Ruprecht will take a draw here. There's a Thassa hiding out over there. I'm going to start by attacking very, very quickly with the Nightfall Spectre.
I like this. I like how aggressive Adam's being here. You know, you don't want to be scared.
No.
Besides, by putting pressure on Rolando's life total, he's making that Eidolon of the Great Revels a liability. Plus, I mean, obviously, Lewis is stuck with the Mana Confluence in play as one of his primary sources of mana. Punish him.
There's a Cloudfin Raptor. Now the follow-up here is a Thassa. And it looks like Ruprecht, and I'll give Adam some credit here, the way that he is playing his spells, he's playing them very patiently. And now, you know, now the situation is going to come up here where the way that Adam played his card, he played a Cloudfin Raptor very slowly, then he played a Thassa very slowly, and then he evolved his Cloudfin Raptor, and then Rolando said, all right, well, you take 2 from each of those. And I feel like Adam gave him plenty of time for the triggers, and they were missed. And of course, it is Rolando's Eidolon of the Great Revel, so it is his responsibility. We saw Rolando check with the judge there and shook his head, knowing that, hey, I did miss these.
A significant nerf to Eidolon of the Great Revels power level.
So Lewis does take a draw behind on the board now. Thassa, Cloudfin Raptor, and Nightveil Spectre ready to get after that life total. Lewis does have a Chandra's Phoenix to play. And he will take 2 to do so. So Lewis will go down to 13. That one's not all that great in this situation. And now the Eidolon is really going to start actually hurting its owner more than it's hurting the opponent. Ruprecht will do a little scry action here. And he's going to keep that card pretty quickly, it looks like. We could just see some creatures get unblockable here in just a moment. Thassa is on, after all. There's not much of a punishment. And I think if you're Ruprecht, you'd rather actually have it so that Eidolon's on the table. But no unblockable just yet, which means that maybe a Master of Waves is on the way. Or something else that is also scary. So Lewis will block the Nightveil Spectre with a Chandra's Phoenix. And it is going to be the Master of Waves. Devotion count is 6. So now 6 2-1 elemental tokens are coming, and for Rolando Lewis, he better have a Chain of the Rocks. And only 2 in the main deck and no additional ones in the sideboard. So it's your good old 2-outer.
Yeah, but I mean, he's at 7. He'd take a couple damage. Like, he needed to chump with the Eidolon there because now he's basically locked out.
That does look to be the issue.
I guess if he has 2 Chain to the Rocks this turn?
Down to 5.
No, still dead.
Take 1 from Ankles, down to 4, down to, yep, still dead. There's a Mountain. Even a card like Warleader's Helix won't do much work in this situation.
Nope. No, it won't.
And Adam Ruprecht is showing off the power of Mono Blue Devotion against red decks. Be it burn, be it aggressive strategies. It is great against mountains.
Yeah, I mean, basically just Mono Blue Devotion versus, you know, a deck with without blue or black. Or maybe it's more properly without white, but... And he extends the hand.
Adam Ruprecht is going to win this match over Rolando Lewis 2-0. Mono Blue Devotion does take down Red White Burn, and for the Grand Prix Vancouver top 8 competitor, 6-1 now with the Islands.
Nice. A couple more to go.
Yeah. Making his way through this long standard open is Adam. Yeah, we saw Mono Blue a little bit earlier in the hands of Josh Ravitz, who is still alive in this thing as well. Josh switching from Mono Black to Mono Blue Devotion this weekend. You have to imagine this is a response to all the red decks that have been winning on the Open Series.
Yeah, although I don't know why he's afraid. Come on. Just, if you're going to play black, you already figured that much out. Like, you're already on the right track.
Yep.
Don't get scared.